Baik, kita mulai.
Listening comprehension. Part A. Directions. In Part A, you will hear short conversations between two people. After each conversation, a third person will ask a question about what was said. You will hear the conversation only one time, so you must listen carefully to what each speaker says. After you hear the conversation and the question, read the 4 possible answers in your test booklet and pick the one which best answers the question. Then look on the answer sheet for the number of the question and fill in the oval that corresponds to the letter of your answer choice. Listen to an example. You will hear,
"Have you called Pete?"
"I'll call him as soon as I get home."
"What does the man mean?" You will read, A. He will call Pete before he goes home. B. He will call Pete after he gets home. C. He called Pete at home. D. He will call Pete tomorrow. You learn from the conversation that the man will call Pete as soon as he gets home. The best answer to the question, what does the man mean, is B. He will call Pete after he gets home. Therefore, the correct answer is B. Now continue listening to the tape. Question 1.
"Didn't Kathleen go traveling with you last summer?"
"Are you kidding? Even if it didn't cost anything, she'd rather stay home."
What does the man imply about Kathleen? Question 2.
"You bought another book on architecture?"
"This book has some details I need."
What does the man mean? Question 3.
"Professor Benson is working in his lab this afternoon."
"But his vacation isn't over until next week."
What did Professor Benson probably do? Question 4.
"I was surprised when you told me that Connie and David have become good friends."
"I know. They didn't used to get along well, did they?"
What does the woman mean? Question 5.
"Have you been to the City Museum?"
"Twice, I believe."
What does the woman mean? Question 6.
"Excuse me, Amy, is it possible for us to switch our shifts this week?"
"Which day do you want to switch to?"
What does the woman imply? Question 7.
"Greg says he's going to take 3 extra classes."
"He's got to be kidding."
What does the man mean? Question 8.
"I need to advertise for another roommate for next semester."
"Why bother? Sandy is interested."
What does the man mean? Question 9.
"How did the movie end?"
"I don't know. It'll be continued tonight."
What does the woman mean? Question 10.
Do you want to see if I can get tickets to the football game next week?
I don't think we stand a chance, but try anyway.
What does the woman mean? Question 11.
Do you really mean you want to quit this job?
Well, maybe I'd better give it a second thought.
What is the man going to do? Question 12.
You should persuade Alex to change his major.
Why? He's mature enough to make up his own mind.
What does the woman mean? Question 13.
Are you going to the group meeting tonight?
I can't. I have another commitment.
What does the man mean? Question 14.
Hey, Jim, how was your vacation?
Oh, I did nothing but study.
What does the man mean? Question 15.
Do you think Laura will accept this proposal?
No way.
What does the man mean? Question 16.
Why did Sue change her schedule?
So she could leave from a closer airport.
What does the woman imply about Sue? Question 17.
Can I eat this fruit as it is?
No, you have to peel it first.
What does the woman mean? Question 18.
Marcus didn't get the score he wanted.
But he did pass the test.
What are they saying about Marcus? Question 19.
I feel like it's only been a few weeks since school started.
And it's already almost time for our final exams.
What do the speakers imply? Question 20.
What does Rich want?
He wants some ice for his sore shoulder.
What does the man imply about Rich? Part B. Directions. In Part B, you will hear longer conversations between two people. After each conversation, you will be asked some questions. You will hear the conversations and the questions only once, so listen carefully to what is said. After you hear a question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and decide which one is the best answer to the question you heard. Then, on your answer sheet, find the number of the question and fill in the oval that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Answer all questions based on what is stated or implied by the speakers. Listen to the example. You will hear, questions 1 and 2 are based on the following conversation between two friends at school.
Hi, Joni. Where are you going?
Oh, hi, Paul. I'm on my way to the library.
I just wondered if you wanted to go to a movie with me.
I'd love to, but I can't. I can't believe all the work I have this semester. I only have 3 classes, but in all of them I have lots of reading, term papers, reports, and essay exams. It's incredible. I feel like I'll never get through everything.
That's terrible. I felt that way last year when I had term papers to write. But this semester seems much easier. I spend a lot of time in class, but most of it is in labs doing experiments. I hated writing all those term papers. Can't I talk you into going to the show anyway? I've heard that the movie over at the East Auditorium is really good. It's a murder mystery.
Oh, now I'm sure I won't go. I might go to a comedy, but I hate murder mysteries.
Now listen to sample question number 1. Where is the woman going? In your test booklet, you will read A, to the cafeteria, B, to the movie theater, C, to her dorm room, D, to the library. The best answer to the question, where is the woman going, is D, to the library. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Now listen to sample question number 2. Which best describes the man's feelings about his classes? You will read A, term papers are easy for him. B, he has a lot of essay exams. C, he finds lab experiments easier than writing term papers. D, he is busier this semester than last semester. The best answer to the question, which best describes the man's feelings about his classes, is C. He finds lab experiments easier than writing term papers. Therefore, the correct answer is C. Now listen to the test. Remember, you are not allowed to take any notes or write in your test book. Questions 21 to 24. Listen to the following conversation between an instructor and a student.
Hi, Jack. Come in. As you know, I'm meeting with all the students to talk about their class research projects. Can you tell me what you're planning to write about?
Yes. At this point, I'm thinking about investigating the Anasazi Indian civilization in the Southwest desert states. When I traveled there last summer, I got really interested in these people, and I found some good sources of information about them. Maybe I will focus on why their civilization suddenly ended in about the year 1400.
That sounds very interesting, and it looks like you've got a good start. I think Eddie in our class is also writing about the Anasazi, but he's taking a different focus. Maybe you could call him to see if you could share some information. Are you finding enough books and articles?
Yes, I think I'm okay so far.
Good. If you need any help, come in and let's talk about it. At any rate, I'm going to make appointments with everyone again in 3 weeks to look at your rough draft.
All right, Dr. Fisher. Thanks.
Sure. See you in class tomorrow.
Question 21. What is this conversation mainly about? Question 22. Where was the Anasazi civilization located in the United States? Question 23. What subject is the student going to focus on? Question 24. Which of the following things does the woman say? Questions 25 to 27. The following conversation takes place in a train station.
Next, please.
Yes. How much does a ticket to New York cost?
$30.50.
That's really expensive. Are there any other trains going to New York?
Well, there's the late train that arrives in New York at midnight and then continues on to Boston the next morning.
How much is that?
The ticket for the late train to New York is $22.
That sounds better. I'd like one ticket, please.
$22 exactly.
Thanks.
Thank you, and have a nice trip.
Question 25. Where is the woman interested in going? Question 26. What is the woman's response to the first train mentioned? Question 27. Why is one ticket cheaper? Questions 28 to 31. Listen to the following conversation between two students.
Hey, Jane, where are you going this weekend?
Hi, Bob. I'm going to the beach with some friends. Do you want to come too?
Yeah, that sounds like fun. Which beach are you going to?
We were thinking about driving north to Grover's Beach. I like to watch the seabirds and wildlife there.
That sounds great. When do you plan to leave?
Well, I think at about 4 o'clock on Friday.
Do you have space for me in one of the cars?
Sure, we'll fit you into a car.
Great. Where should we meet?
Meet me on Friday in front of my house.
Okay, I'll see you then. Bye.
Question 28. What is the main topic of this conversation? Question 29. What can you infer about these two speakers? Question 30. Why does the woman like going to Grover's Beach? Question 31. When do they plan to meet again? Questions 32 to 35. Listen to the following conversation between two friends.
We need to take a vacation.
Well, we both have 2 weeks of vacation time. Why don't we drive north to Canada?
I'd like to go camping, maybe in the mountains.
That sounds good to me. I'm so tired of city living. New York is so congested and full of traffic all the time. We need to get away from that.
Ah, just us and the mountains. Do you want to leave tomorrow?
Sure, of course. Hey, why don't we leave tonight? Why wait?
Well, we haven't packed our backpacks and the car needs an oil change. I need to check the engine tonight if we're going to leave in the morning.
Okay, well, why don't you go fix the car while I go up to the attic and get out the camping things?
Sounds great. I'll be out in the garage, so just yell if you need me for anything.
Okay.
Question 32. What are the two speakers talking about doing? Question 33. Where is this conversation most likely taking place? Question 34. Why does the woman want to spend her vacation camping? Question 35. Why can't they leave that night for their vacation? Part C, directions. In this part of the test, you will hear talks by a single person. After each talk, you will be asked some questions. You will hear the talks and the questions only once, so listen carefully to what is said. After you hear each question, read the 4 possible answers in your test book and decide which one is the best answer to the question you heard. Then, find the number of the question on your answer sheet and fill in the oval that corresponds to the letter of the answer you have chosen. Answer all questions based on what is stated or implied in the talk. Listen to this sample talk. You will hear,
Questions 1 to 4 are based on the following announcement.
At this university, we offer 3 different programs for students who have children. For those of you with very young children, we have a daycare program that takes infants from 3 months to 30 months. We have another program for children between 2 and 5 years of age. And we also have an after-school program for school-aged children. This program offers sports, crafts, outings, and tutoring during after-school hours. Enrollment in these child care programs is limited, and early application is essential since our programs often have waiting lists. The fees are on an hourly basis. If any of you new students need these services, please let me know right away so I can get you an application form.
now listen to sample question number 1.
What is the main purpose of this announcement?
You will read A, to demonstrate tutoring techniques. B, to explain school policies. C, to recruit childcare workers. D, to explain a service. The best answer to the question, what is the purpose of this announcement, is D, to explain a service. Therefore, the correct choice is D. Now listen to sample question number 2.
What does the speaker recommend?
You will read A, give your child extra tutoring. B, take your child to the program today. C, apply as soon as you can. D, pay next month. The best answer to the question, what does the speaker recommend, is C, apply as soon as you can. Therefore, the correct choice is C. Now listen to the talks. Remember, you are not allowed to write any notes in your test book.
Questions 36 to 39. Listen to the following lecture by a professor.
While we're talking about the media, let me tell you about a little-known magazine that was printed in New York City before World War I. This magazine, with its strong socialist political views, published articles on such topics as free love, feminism, and peace that wouldn't really become popular again in this country until the late 1960s. It was very influential in some circles in this country. The magazine was called The Masses and was especially popular in Greenwich Village, a neighborhood in New York famous for its unusual cultural life. The students and artists who populated Greenwich Village in those days had a lifestyle that was unique for their time. People would go there to discuss political ideas, such as the growing movements for peace during World War I and women's right to vote. The Masses covered not only the people and life of Greenwich Village, but also hot political topics that were rarely spoken of by most Americans during these pre-war years.
Question 36. What is the main topic of this lecture? Question 37. When was The Masses first published? Question 38. Which of the following topics would most likely be printed in The Masses? Question 39. What class would this lecture most likely be a part of?
Questions 40 to 43. Listen to the following announcement at a zoo.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? There will be 3 animal shows this afternoon at the city zoo. The first show will begin at 3 o'clock in the Marine Arena. There, Flipper the dolphin and Orca the killer whale will dazzle the audience with jumps and flips and other funny antics. The second show will be a feeding of the monkeys and apes at 4 o'clock in the Primate Center. Visitors can assist the staff in feeding the apes and playing with the monkeys. The last show will be at 4:30 in the giant bird cage, where Dr. Smith will give a guided tour, pointing out more than 300 species of birds from Central and South America. If you have any questions about these shows or other upcoming events at the zoo, please ask at the information booth at the main entrance next to the gift shop. Thank you.
Question 40. What is the purpose of this announcement? Question 41. Which of the following kinds of animals is one of the shows featuring? Question 42. What will Dr. Smith give a guided tour of? Question 43. Where does the announcer say that a person can get information about the animal show times?
Questions 44 to 46. Listen to the following introduction to a class.
Good morning. My name is John Smith, and I will be the main instructor for this semester's history class, The American South After the Civil War. We'll read books covering the years after 1865, when the Union defeated the Confederate forces of the Southern states. There will be 3 midterms and 1 final exam at the end of the semester. In addition, there will also be 1 paper that is due on December 15th, at the end of this school term. The first topic we'll be discussing is the famous speech made by Abraham Lincoln after the decisive Battle of Gettysburg in the state of Pennsylvania. This speech is one of the most famous in American history, and I think it appropriately describes the feelings of many people at that time during this war between American states.
Question 44. What subject is this introduction mainly about? Question 45. What is the significance of December 15th? Question 46. What will the speaker probably discuss next?
Questions 47 to 50. Listen to the following introduction given by a lecturer.
Today we are going to listen to one of the greatest musical pieces ever composed. But before we begin listening to the Messiah by Handel, I would like to mention that there is no original version of the Messiah. Handel was a practical man, and he altered the symphony depending on the instruments he could use and the special conditions at a specific performance. The version you are going to hear today is a collection of different performances by the London Philharmonic of the version that Handel wrote in 1750. There are only 50 instruments and 70 voices. In later years, conductors would often add more instruments. At one performance called the Grand National Celebration of Peace, given in Boston in 1869, There were at least 10,000 voices and 500 instruments. It has not been until recent years that conductors have begun to study Handel's original arrangements of the Messiah and have performed the piece with much smaller ensembles. One final note to consider is that most people associate the Messiah with Christmas, but this was not what Handel intended. He wrote the Messiah to be performed in the spring, just before Easter.
Question 47. What is this lecture about? Question 48. What is the speaker describing? Question 49. How have the versions of this work varied throughout the years? Question 50. What celebration was this work intended for?
Listening comprehension.
Ah,
Part A. Direction.
sudah habis. Silahkan melanjutkan dengan structure. Saya tutup pertemuan ini. Saya tunggu jawabannya besok, paling lambat besok pagi ya Pak, jam 7 lah. Oh ya, sini enggak ada nih tuh Pak, room chat ya. Chat roomnya enggak ada. Mana sih?
Ada izin Bu, chatroom ada.
Bentar.
There is a chat room, ma'am. I will chat.
Ya. Baik, ya ada Pak. Oh,
Yes, ma'am.
this one is my number Pak. Can you see this? So you can send the answer, the photo of the answer to my WhatsApp. Okay. See you
Yes, ma'am.
tomorrow.
08.
Yeah.
Sorry, ma'am. Before we leave,
Yes.
the next what we must to work. Which one, ma'am?
Page 94, Pak.
Page 94.
Yes, page 94 until 19.8.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. Saya akan nanti kirimkan jawabannya, maksudnya ya hasil evaluasinya dari itu.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Selamat mengerjakan, selamat mempersiapkan sidang tesis.
Siap, terima kasih Bu. Izin, semoga sehat, sukses selalu
Iya.
juga. Izin.
Sama-sama Pak. Saya sudah Pak tadi bertempur.
Siap, semoga diberikan hasil yang terbaik. Izin Ibu.
Alhamdulillah sudah lulus saya Pak. Untuk
Siap, selamat Ibu. Siap, semoga barokah, bermanfaat.
Amin, amin Pak.
Siap.
Demikian juga nanti Bapak-bapak.
Amin, terima kasih. Izin Ibu. Siap.
Thank a lot, ma'am. Please reply to me.
Ya Pak, thank you. I'll wait for the answer until tomorrow morning. See
Yes,
you
ma'am.
tomorrow.
So yes,
Thank you,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Thank you so
Yes.
much.
Good
Good
evening.
evening.
Yes.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Yes.
Makasih Pak Wahyu.
I'm sorry Pak Wahyu.
Terima
Miscommunication.
kasih, Pak Lakjar. Kak UPT bisa. Mendapatkan hasil yang maksimal.
Terima kasih Kak UPT.
buat ngopi Jin sambil mempersiapkan.
Terima kasih.
Siap. Terima kasih.
Siap.
Sir, excuse me. I'm very sorry. I'm so careless, sir.
It's okay, Mr. Wahyu.
Thank you, Mr. Wahyu. Thank you.
Have a nice weekend.
KUPT. Terima kasih, Sun.
Siap Jin. Selamat weekend Jin.
Okay,
Selamat
sir.
weekend. Yo.
Success for you
Terima kasih.
all. Assalamualaikum,
Siap.
sir.
Waalaikumsalam.
Selamat
Bye.
weekend, Mentor Adi. Siap.
Sehat-sehat selalu semua.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Selamat
Happy
weekend,
weekend.
Malajar.
Siap Mentor. Selamat berakhir pekan yang indah. Sebelum keindahan berganti dengan hari Senin.
Semangat semuanya, sehat.
Semangat bertempur. Semangat dari Armada Tor hari Senin.
Siap, Pak Lakjar.
Terima kasih Pak Lakjar. Mohon doanya
Siap
semoga hari
Jin.
Senin menjadi awal yang indah untuk kedepannya.
Ya, untuk hari apa yang indah untuk hari Selasa dan hari Rabu. Dan terterawannya
Amin.
dalam hati. Siap Jin, semoga hasil yang maksimal.
Amin. Terima
Siap,
kasih,
Mentor.
Sun. Yo.
Ya, selamat istirahat Jin, Mentor.
Yo.
Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih. Waalaikumsalam. Salam keluarga, Sun.
Siap Jin.
Sehat-sehat. Yo.
Terima kasih sama keluarga Jin. Waalaikumsalam.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Bisa di end meeting, Pak. Nggak apa-apa.
Pak Edi, kok dikirim ya file Pak? Anu iki lho, kopiane. Nunggu sinau. Rekaman.
Oke, thank you.
Iya.
Wah, wis dianu.
Bisa didengar lagi tuh rekamannya.
Sinyal saya mati-mati toh. Biasa.
Pak. Tadi itu masih ada orang lapsa sama itu. Jangan ngomong
Iya,
rekaman.
makanya.
Ah,
Udah lift.
Oh, sudah lift. Mereka
Aman.
tidak monitor. Ini
Iya,
untuk
Pak.
kita.
Bisa dibuat rekamannya aja dulu nanti biar kita.
Saya hasilnya aja Tor, enggak apa-apa Tor. Enggak usah rekamannya enggak apa-apa, yang penting aja.
Itu yang struktur masih ada 40 nomor lagi ya, Tor ya?
Jin, Mentor Budi, udah selesai kayaknya, Tor.
Iya, tadi masih jawab.
Bud,
Masih
hanya
jawab.
kepadamu.
Ngawur-ngawur, mohon izin. Nanti kami coba lagi.
Tolong ya Bud. Saat dulu jam itu kok Bud jam 6 enggak apa-apa.
Nanti yang struktur
Iya, Prof.
struktur masih ada 40 nomor lagi, Tor ya?
Kalau Prof Budi sudah ada bocorannya.
Oh, dia punya gaman
Jangan
yang
dibenarkan
sama.
semua, Mentor Budi. Nanti nilainya 100 Tor, Tor.
Iya.
Oh, betul kayak
Foto ya, jawabannya di foto ya.
Di foto Tor, di foto dikumpul di WA ke beliau langsung. Jadi jangan sampai namanya nggak jelas Tor.
Nomor berapa
Berarti termasuk yang tadi 50 soal ya.
Iya Tor, jadi 50 yang tadi tambah yang saya tanya terakhir halaman 94 sampai 98.
94,
ada 40 nomor, Tor ya? 94, 98, 40 nomor, Tor.
Belum buka juga, Mbuh. 40 ya?
40 tadi bilangnya, Tor.
Rata-rata tadi satu
Ya benar.
sesinya.
Bisa TOEFL 90.
98 struktur katanya.
98 soal apa? Pilihan ya?
Sama, Tor, pilihan, Tor.
Saya
Semua, Tor.
udah Tor, udah wis nunggu Pak Edi aja
40
lah
Tor.
sharing.
40 nomor, Tor.
Enggak, kalau tadi saya
40 nomor,
dengar itu
Jin.
yang long conversation itu
40
rata-rata
ya?
pilihannya
50
sama.
Tor.
3 nomor
Semuanya
semua.
berarti 90.
Semua gitu.
Wis nunggu Pak Edi aja Tor, wis. Saya juga lagi kesel, capek.
Tunggu Pak Edi sama Prof Budi yang share, Tor.
Iya.
Iya tadi, aduh, semoga aja mereka nggak, aduh ini direkam, woi, kacau.
Enggak
Tak
apa-apa.
tunggu.
Udah.
Ya.
Tak tunggu Prof Budi ya. Paling 5 menit selesai.
Terima kasih Bud atas bantuannya. Tinggal
Terima
ditunggu
kasih
dikirim.
sebelumnya, Pak E.
Terima kasih, Bud.
Selesai, Jin, kami akhiri.
Iya
Akhirnya,
Pak. Nanti jam 6 ya Pak ya, paling lambat Pak.
Nah, nanti malam insya Allah sudah selesai kan?
Amin. Semangat Pak.
Yang penting ini, Tor. Yang penting anaknya Mayor Budi nggak rewel aja, Tor.
Oh iya, aman itu.
Anaknya rewel pun nggak masalah, Sun. Ada Budi.
Siap.
Siap Tor, makasih Tor semuanya, Sun, Pak Edi.
Terima
kasih.
Selamat weekend, Jin.
Siap. Terima kasih, Bin.